Let it snow, let it snow. Hello and welcome everyone to the very first video, the very first episode of Decoded. I am D and I just want to make this video as an introductory video to give a very brief overview about what we will be discussing on this channel. This is the first channel that I have made here on YouTube focusing on a few things, all related and connected to spiritual decoding and biblical prophecy, biblical information. With this channel, we will be decoding a few things. We will be decoding not only the Bible, but what we see happening in our everyday lives, from sports to music to politics, health, and other things, etc., etc. So, as decoders, because we are all one decoding family, right? I'm a decoder, but you are as well. So, as a decoder and a saint and a Bible believer, I believe that the Bible must be the center and the focus of this channel and my everyday life, right? So, one thing that I want to start off with is a Bible scripture. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11 states that lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Now, you may be asking, why did you bring that up? Well, we are in the year 2021, and we have definitely seen an augmentation of darkness, of iniquity, of Satan, and Satan's puppets really putting the pressure on in many different ways, shapes, and forms. And as saints, as believers, and as human beings who just believe in doing the right thing, we must be aware of his devices. Right? So, when we're talking about looking at the Bible, when we're talking about Satan's devices, I believe when it comes to studying the word, we must look at the etymology of a word. What is etymology? Well, that's just the word origin, right? Because the Bible is written in a language that is different than its original language. The Bible is written, well, the Old Testament was in Hebrew, so I think it's best to go to that Hebrew root and understand exactly what the words mean in that particular language. So let's look at device. So device in Hebrew is na'ima. Na'ima. I believe I said that right. If I did not, please pardon me. But what does na'ima mean? Well, that means mind, device, thought. Mind, device, thought. So when we talk about Satan's devices, we are talking about a lot of different things, right? We're talking about how he uses mind, how he uses thought, how he uses persuasion, all of that to get his point across, to persuade you, to trick you even into doing something. But it's important that we stay aware, right? And we are not ignorant of what his devices are in our lives. Um, we have to understand how he operates, right? That's actually a command, as we see in Second Corinthians, right? He's not a being who just comes upon us innocently. Oftentimes, he's a being that he'll have a seed, and then that seed grows, and then, as James states, if that seed is allowed to grow, then it will eventually give birth to death. So let's continue to look at that word device, right? Device. So the outline of biblical usage according to the King James Version Bible, I'm using the Blue Letter Bible here. Great app. If you don't have it, I definitely recommend it. The first one is a mental perception or thought. Second one is an evil purpose. And thirdly, we have that which thinks, the mind, thoughts, or purposes. So when we're talking about the etymology of the word device, we're talking about the perception or the purpose. What purpose does Satan have when it comes to his plans or his agenda, right? What is the thought behind that? What is his overall mission? Because he always has a mission, and it's normally to destroy us. Even though it may seem nefarious or innocuous, I should say, maybe it would seem innocuous initially, it's often nefarious and harmful to us. So that includes every facet of our lives, right? We're talking about decoding. We have to think about every grain, every um, crevice of our lives that he is trying to infiltrate. And we know the biggest one is the worldwide pandemic right now, and the worldwide deception with the alleged solution to the pandemic, right? That is definitely one of the biggest or largest devices that he's using right now. And as decoders, we are going to continue to not only dissect but educate and disseminate truth and information about the worldwide deception, right? Um, this is something that has put a very strong delusion on people, especially the saints. Unfortunately, I see saints pushing this propaganda, and it's sad. But like I said, as decoders, we must continue to spread the truth. So that brings me into what the Most High Yah, the Most High God requires of us, right? In 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 15 it states, "Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." Right? So when it comes to being a decoder, we have to be a well-rounded decoder. Not only decode, what Satan and his devices are, so we can know how to spot it and avoid it, right? And retreat from it, and denounce it and bind it and reject it. But also, we have to look at our Creator, the Most High, and understand what He will have us do. We are supposed to, as saints, study the Word. That's how we grow. That's how we mature in every way, shape, and form, right? Every facet that He will have us grow mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all those different ways. We have to study so that we remain grounded, not being moved by every strong wind or any strong wind, right? That's why being grounded is important. Having roots is important. But it's also important that we divide the word of truth. Because if you don't know how to divide, you'll keep adding incorrectly or subtracting incorrectly, multiplying all the different math equations you can think of, right? So there's a reason why that's also a command in Second Timothy. We have to be able to see and understand and have that discernment so that we can divide the word of truth the way that the Most High will have us, especially during this day and age. And this year, last year and this year, if they haven't shown us anything, they have shown us that we must be more discerning and wise. So when we talk about wisdom and discernment and breaking down codes and being great decoders, let's break down what the word code means, because within the word decode, we have code. We have the prefix D, and then we have the root code. Let's look at that root code. According to dictionary.com, the definition of code is a system of words, letters, figures, or other symbols substituted for other words, letters, etc., especially for the purposes of secrecy. Ooh, now there are some very important key words in that definition. The first one is a system. The next one is symbols. The next one is secrecy, and they all begin with the letter S. We have some alliteration going on there. But we have a system, meaning groups of people participate in this way, in this form of communication, and they use symbols to communicate with each other. And they are not only symbols, but they are secret symbols. Uh-huh. So that is very much indicative of what we see happening in politics and secret societies. We're talking about decoding. Well, there are a lot of different ways we can decode when we're talking about the word as well. Cracking and decoding what the Most High will have us understand, right? That's also important to do as well. So there's a lot of decoding to be done everywhere. And last thing we're going to look at is what decode means, right? According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it is to convert into intelligible form or to recognize and interpret. So that is what we will be focusing on this channel. I welcome you all to my channel, Decoded, and I look forward to getting to look at your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until then, Yah bless.